Hey, how's it going, YouTube? This is my very first video. Hopefully this video will come to you as helpful and informative as we go along. As you can see in the title, I placed building a home in Mexico, in the city of Chapala, in the state of Jalisco. And I've been looking at a lot of videos online, and I think they're very helpful. So I figured if I make a video about my build and what are the steps that it takes to build a house there, I think it can be helpful for you if you're thinking of building a home there. And I really want to share with everybody just kind of my reason why I'm building a house there, and what are my thought process, and basically pros and cons. So just before I start, I really want to give thanks to Jerry at JC Travels. His videos are super informative. I really recommend that you see his videos if you're looking at Ajijic or Chapala in itself. I think he can give you probably the latest of the rentals, the latest of security, basically a lot of information that he has there, because I think he has spent a good time just trying to have that information with him that he can share with you guys. So this video is basically more so for maybe just more for the build and kind of the thought behind it. So first and foremost, I think why am I building a house in Mexico? So currently I'm 49 years old, and I do not want to work for the rest of my life. I do not want to work till complete retirement. I think there is some benefit of working and keeping active, but it's not necessarily the way I want to keep active as I get older, and as I think about retirement and how healthy I'm going to be when that time comes. So currently, right now, I live in California. If I were to stay in California and retire here, with the current situation, I would never be able to pay my house. So just a little bit background on that. In 2008, I think a lot of you guys struggled. I'm the one who I struggled also in 2008 with the recession that hit us. And I was one of the guys who wanted to really just hold on to the house and make good with my commitment of paying the house. So it was good, and at the same time bad, because in the process I held on probably for a good 5 years before I couldn't hold on anymore, and so I ended up having to refinance through a government program, and I was able to keep my house. So that worked out really good. So this was probably like 7 years ago. I got the loan for another 30 years. You can do the math. If I stay in this house, I'll be in my 70s, and it's not essentially what I want to do. I really want to be able to retire, enjoy life, take it easy, work at my own pace. So that's what I'm thinking right now. So what I know about Mexico. So I was born here, and my dad took me to Mexico when I was 12 years old. I lived there for 6 years. Those 6 years, I can say that I really enjoyed Mexico and the people out there. There is a lot of things that I don't like as far as organization and just the structure of things sometimes in the city. It just runs different in the United States. I feel like the United States is very well tuned, and things that we do here are very purposeful. Being in California is also a plus, because California is so big and so organized, and it's one of the basically richest places in the United States. I believe at this current time is about 4th richest place in the world. That's huge. I might be wrong with that information, but being that we're in a place that has everything, going to Mexico feels like a downgrade, but really it really isn't. It's more of a style of life that I want to live. And so when I was 18 years old, I came back, and I've been working since. God has blessed me very much to be able to have a good job and provide for this home. and really do good. So the plans is that if I keep this home, I continue to just own it. I have options to either sell it and then take my income to Mexico and use that income basically to survive or to live or to put a business. I'm not exactly sure. Or I rent this place and then move out there and get whatever I can monthly payments. The trouble with that is I have to continue to upkeep a home, and I'm not sure if that balances out. So, how am I building a home in Mexico? Well, I've been very blessed by my dad to build this home for me. So he gave me the option to either help me and bless me here in the United States, which when I did the math, it really didn't make sense, even if he pays off this house here. If he pays off this house here and I stay here, it's pretty much, I'm still kind of messed up if I only plan to live on Social Security, which in this case, I am planning to live on Social Security, and I do have 401k, but I don't have enough 401k to be able to just have the life that I'm living now, and I don't want my kids to want to have to help me, and that's kind of like the thought process. So, as far as the reason of me leaving or wanting to go to Guadalajara, go to Chapala, I'm sorry, in the place of, and where the building's going to be, it's actually going to be in Lomas del Country, which is a new development right next to San Nicolas Ibarra, and it's kind of adjacent or close to Lomas del Country. My dad's lived in Vistas del Lago for 30 years, and he's been retired for quite a while now, and I see how he has enjoyed life and he's really made the most of it. He's currently around 80 years old, and the way he lives over there is very comfortably. He lives off his Social Security because he worked here in the United States for a very long time, and he also worked in Mexico, so he has basically 2 Social Securities that he's collecting, and also I believe he's collecting a pension. So that's something that most of us in the Generation X might not have pensions unless you work in a union or something like that. I don't have a pension, so I'm going to rely solely on my Social Security and whatever I can grab from there. And then my wife's Social Security too. So some of the concerns I believe that most people have is safety. So I'm Mexican. I was born here. I went to Mexico, and but when I go to Mexico, it feels different than here. But I do not feel that it's unsafe. My dad lived there, like I said, in Chapala for 30 years. He's been back from the United States to Mexico close to 40 years now. So he left here when he was 40 something, after he worked for a while here. He is, I would say, well off enough, so it's not about having any type of riches or do you look kind of well off that somebody's going to come and hit you up or break into your house. It could be the case, but it hasn't been the case for my dad. And what I contribute that to is that he just has great connections with the people around there. He's not flaunting his money. He's not flaunting how well he's doing. So he lives humbly. He talks humbly, and so forth. People treat him really well, and essentially, I think they even look out for them. But it happens here in the United States. If you live in a community where you get along with the community, your same community takes care of you, and that's the case here. So a lot of the worries that are in Mexico, and again, you can see JC Travels, I think he does a really good job. But every time I've gone over there, it's been really peaceful, really nice. The area of Hajijic, Chapala, it's just so peaceful, so beautiful. There's police there, and you got the soldiers and stuff. That it looks intimidating. But reality, if you're going to live a normal life, if you're going to look normal, and look, I have tattoos and all that stuff, so I don't really necessarily look normal to a lot of people, but I'm not doing crazy stuff, and I'm not going to be flaunting or talking down or anything like that. If you get pulled over by a cop, it's like, here, say yes, sir. Be respectful. I think it applies to anywhere in the United States, and no less here in California. The soldiers don't do much neither. I mean, they'll probably pull you over if they have questions and stuff like that, but you just have to answer honestly. And my teacher told me, if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. So if you don't have nothing to hide, and if you're not doing things that are bad, then I wouldn't say you have nothing to fear. Okay? So my dad right now lives currently with about 1,200 a month, and he lives very well. He has other sources of income, but the major part of income is that. And he eats well, he lives well, he pays electricity. I mean, I don't know what the electricity is everywhere, but at least in my dad's house, he has some solar panels on his house. His house is about 1,500 square feet. Not big, not small, I think. Or even less than that. I'm not sure, but he lights up the whole place. I mean, the whole grounds, the back house, the back rooms. He has just a bunch of lights everywhere because he likes to have light everywhere. And I saw his bill when I went over there just last summer, and he was paying $45 for 2 months, and he said that was pretty high. The solar does help him, which is really good. The other thing that Mexico has, what the United States doesn't have, is they have these gas like heating panels. I don't know what they are, but you don't have to use a whole lot of gas because they have these little panels that are warmed up with the UV rays. It's not solar in a sense, but more like UV, and they warm up really good. And it's enough for a couple of showers, hot water, everything you need basically for just a good shower. If you want to do your laundry and anything like that, you're going to have hot water. So you really don't use a whole lot in gas. Of course, we have tanks over there where they just fill in the gas or the propane, and then he does that every once in a while. I'm not sure how much that costs. So that's a little different. So style of living is different in here. Obviously, the food is different. The way regulations are here are different. And over there, they're a little bit looser. So yes, I agree with a lot of things that like Jerry says in his videos. I'm not going to go somewhere and eat where I feel like it's dirty. But most of the restaurants are clean. I think people get sick in Mexico mostly because our bacteria balance in our gut is different than in Mexico. Because once I'm in Mexico for a little while, I'll get used to it, and I don't get sick. And I also don't get bit by the mosquitoes a whole lot after a while. I remember when I first moved to Mexico, I was gone. I was beat up by mosquitoes all over the place. But the more that I'm there and everything, I guess you become immune to it. I don't know what happens, but maybe I do get bit, but I just can't tell. I don't feel it. I don't get all those bumps and stuff like that. So I have kids here. I have 4 kids. 2 that are moved out and 2 that are still in high school. So obviously I'm going to wait for them to get out of high school. And there is a challenge between leaving them here and us going. It's a challenge for my wife. That's, I think, going to be the challenge for everybody, and depending on your circumstance. But the best thing for us is to move over there and just really live comfortably. They will be young, so they can travel, and we can travel also. And that's basically the thought. From Chapala to the airport, it's about 30 minutes. An air flight, if you really plan it out, I've paid $125 to $150. And if I go through CBX here in California, you pay $16 to get through. Really easy. You don't have to deal with the whole border thing. So I really recommend CBX. I do fly out of Mexico. If I go out of LAX, it's probably $100 more. It really depends on your circumstance and your needs. Obviously, if you're in another part of the country and you're watching this and you're thinking of going to Mexico, you might have to fly out from where you're at and visit your family. Let's say from New York or Chicago. I'm not sure. So it's a lot more expensive, but I'm flying out of California. My family's in California, so it makes a lot more sense for me to fly into TJ, cross the border to CVX, get picked up by my kids, and then just visit them. And that's the plan. I do that now to travel over there and visit my dad, and it's been really good. So this is the first part of the video. I'm hoping to be able to share with you as I move along and show you the build, how much it's cost to the point, how much the land cost, and how much the permits cost, because we're trying to do everything right, and we don't want to cut any corners. When you build in Chapala, you have to really know what you're doing, because I mean, you're living close to the lake. Some of the ground moves, so you have to really know how to do a foundation. You really have to know who to talk to for the permits and everything. This is what's been very helpful, because my dad knows all that. He's been taking care of all that, so I'm very blessed. But if you don't have that opportunity with somebody that you know, I really recommend spending some time getting good recommendations. If you're building in Chapala, if you're building in around Ajijic, if you're going to be building in Vistas del Lago or Lomas del Lago, where I'm building, obviously I recommend that guy who I'm using right now, and I'm not trying to basically sell the guy, but I'm trusting the guy. You get to see the build in the next few videos. I don't know exactly how long it's going to take for every video. I'm not sure if all of it's what you're going to need. So currently right now, I'll try to put some videos at the end of this portion right here and show you when basically I bought the land to where I got the permits, and basically show you the very first steps of them drawing the land and kind of digging in to build the foundation on it. So just for your information, in 2019, in August of 2019 is when my dad said, "Hey, what do you want to do? Do you want this, or you want to build a home? You want the land? You want to build a home?" And at the time, I was thinking, "Hey, I'm gonna go to Mexico and live there, maybe in Ensenada, Rosarito, but it's really expensive, and even the cost of living is a little bit more higher than Guadalajara or Chapala." So I didn't know he was going to ask me this, but it was already in my thoughts of what I want to do. I think one thing that the baby boomers have over the X generation is they're very well planned, very smart, and I think they know how to save money more so than the X generation. And I'm hoping that through this, more of my generation thinks ahead too and start thinking, okay, hey, we cannot live on 401k alone. Got to do some investments, got to do some changes, got to do something that we won't have to be living somewhere poorly or live a lesser life than we're living right now. So anyhow, so I got the thought in August. He said, "Hey, there's a piece of land in the city of Chapala in Lomas del Country. So if you're interested, there's still a lot of land there. It's basically a big building site. There's an HOA there. And as the developments happen, the HOA gets to vote on certain things like the road, security, all that stuff. So I'm hoping to post enough videos that you can see the place, and if you're interested, you can contact somebody there. I don't know who sells them. We went through an agency that somebody had put a posting on the land. We called them. But there is other properties there that might be for sale if you're interested. Anyhow, okay, so August. We thought about it. We went to go see the land. Took some pictures that you will see. I really love the land, and really close to a stream that's in the back part of it. There is some early development there, close to where I'm buying the land, where I bought the land. So it was nice to see that on the very top of the street there is a nice Canadian lady that bought a big piece of land and made it a horse property, and I think she rents, or she does something like stables there to take care of horses. So it's really nice. And then right next door, if I look at the house in the front, and I might have some videos, you'll see it on the left. It's from a doctor that lives in Guadalajara. Like Jerry from JC Travel says that there's a lot of people that come from Guadalajara and just spend the weekend. So that's a doctor owns that house, and he'll come every once in a while, is what I heard. I have not seen him. And then in front of me, there's some houses that have already been built too. And these are mostly from people that are doing well off in Guadalajara, and they want a country house. They want something in the country. They want something by the lake, and they can get away. So I think it's pretty cool that I get to live in a place where people have their secondary homes. I'm thinking because it doesn't get as messy. It's well taken care of. This is mostly people who are doing well. Lost my train of thought, so I apologize there, but you'll get to see the video. You'll get to see the property. Hopefully I can take the front. I got some back views. Hopefully you can see the basically the foundation. The foundation itself is super expensive. So from the time that we thought about it and say yes to the property, fast forward, we contacted the guy. He said yes. My dad he did a wheel and deal like everybody else. So if they're going to offer your property for $25,000, don't go with that right away. I really recommend that you just say, hey, okay, it's $25,000, but I really want to pay $20,000 per se. And they might say no. You go back and forth, and you end up somewhere in the middle. And that's kind of where I ended up at, somewhere in the middle. So I did buy the property for $22,500. The permits and everything that goes with it took a good month and a half, 2 months, somewhere around there, to get an architectural drawing, and I can probably show you what my house plan is in some other videos. But I did a rendering by hand, and then my dad took it to an architect. The architect charged him $500, and it's something that you're never going to be able to pay here. He did a full-scale blueprints, everything that the property needs to have a good foundation. How many they call them vigas in Mexico. It's just different wording. I'm sorry, but they basically tell them everything that you need to build a house. The house that I'm building right now currently is about 1,800 square feet, 2-bedroom. I didn't want many bedrooms. I just wanted an open space concept. I wanted tall roofs. So basically, between Mexican traditional, and some American concepts in there. I really liked farmhouse. So I don't know how I'm gonna fuse contemporary with farmhouse, but I'm gonna work on it. So from the time the house was bought to the permits, get that approved to the city of Chapala, to the time that actually started being able to draw on the ground, it was from August to December. So a few months there just to get that concept down. So currently, to do the foundation, it's going to take a full month. And the cost of that foundation so far has cost about $20,000. So I'm about $45,000 into it right now, just to buy the land, get the permits, and build a foundation. You still got to buy all the steel, bricks, and then you're paying the labor and all that stuff. So as we go along, I'll show you those foundations. I'll show you everything we had to do so you can be aware, and we'll go from there. Hopefully the video is informative to you. It really helps you. I think that this is just an introduction, so hopefully this makes sense. You might want to skip to the second video and really see how the house building and the property and just the view over there in general. So I hope you enjoy. I really recommend that you see some videos there from Ajijic. And by the way, one thing I do agree with Jerry is that there is some people that are worried about going to Mexico and living on $800 a month. I don't see how you can live well in the United States for $800. So if you can't live well in the United States for $800, I guarantee you're going to live better in Mexico with $800. You're not going to live richly, but you're not going to be poor. As far as insurance and all that stuff, my dad does really well with the government insurance. And when he needs something, he just pays the doctor. And he has high blood pressure, diabetes, and other things. I mean, he's 80 years old, so you can imagine. Sometimes he'll come to the United States and he'll do really full checkups and stuff like that. He comes routinely for that. So it all depends how you want to handle it. But because it's worked for him, that's what I'm planning to do. And if it's not broken, then why fix it? Okay. I really enjoyed sharing this video with you guys, this information. I hope that you guys like it. I hope you guys enjoy the build because it's going to be something that I'm enjoying. And I'll see you later.